What the crispy fried Kentucky? Fuck! Yeah, put this on air. Oh, my whole ass is hanging out, yeah. Actually, my ass is not hanging out right now, but it could very well be. Cause you're a dick!
Hi, I'm Billy. I, basically explain stuff. Yeah.
Fresh like a spring breeze.
Really? Most of the time when I wear underwear, it's not like that at all. And I start to question my life. Like, maybe I'm wearing the wrong kind of breeze or something, I don't know. How are yours fresh like a spring breeze? That's what I want to know. Because in the summer, mine are like blazing hot and my, this is not a very appropriate conversation for children, especially since this is a children's game. Whoops. Does that make sense? I don't think it makes sense, but you know what? I call my thing Bailey Basically Explains. I might as well explain how these damn games work. Because hey, that's what I do. I explain things. That's what I like to do because that's what nerds tend to do, is they explain things. Or, depending on the gender of the person that you are explaining to, it is mansplaining. Actually, forget it. It's not mansplaining, it's nerdsplaining. There's a difference. Who the fuck said that? I will destroy you. Wait a minute, are these the same races as before? I think the racers were switched. I don't think they were. Yes, they were, because some of them just got better. And I don't like that. Oh no, the computers have gotten better at a game they were programmed to be good at. What a surprise. This is some satanic BS. Sorry mama, but your good little Christian boy is gonna have to be a demon slayer. Demonic invasion in process. Well, let's stop these fuckers then. Oh damn it, I said fucker. Lord, can you forgive me for saying fucker? Probably not. Cut all the bullshit! I just want to shoot demons in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. This time, I'm not gonna mess this up. This time is gonna be different. Because this time, I'm actually gonna make a smarter move. I missed a crate? Are you kidding me? See, this is more upsetting than not getting all the star coins in the level, because there's only 3 of them in Super Mario, but in this game, you miss one crate, it's just... Lady, I appreciate if you stop sobbing in the background, it is interrupting my fish looking. Also, wait. Oh, I guess I lost stuff. Oh, hi!
My little girl. Wait,
What's up?
you're sending an android?
All right, ma'am. We need to go.
You can't
Oh,
do
okay,
that.
that's racist, first of all.
Why aren't you sending a real person?
You know... okay, rude. Look, lady, it's not like... no, I'm not gonna... What's under here? I wonder what it could be. Is it an Incredibrick? Wow, it sure is, bud. Alright, you can drop that. No. This is incredible, what are you doing? Well, you're stuck now. She's trying to follow me, but she's stuck under there. She's like, ah! How could you do this to me? Here, I'm sorry, let me get you out of there. I am the law now, you cannot beat the law. Stop your vehicle. I am the law now. Supervillain law, ha ha ha, just like in real life. Okay, that joke was tasteless. It lacked color, I'll admit that. This is no problem. This is fine. I'm okay with this. Alright, stupid bird, pump it up. Alright.
Quick! We have to get to the power cell before the pelican scoops it up again.
You know what, your voice reminds me of, like, a character from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I don't know which one. Maybe one that doesn't actually exist, but, yeah, that's what it reminds me of. Oh, you mother... I don't have time for this!
Hurry before the pelican scoops it up and eats it. Ah, shut up. Why are you even with me? It's not like you do anything useful, Dexter. I don't even know what the hell you are, but you are pissing me off. Don't mess with me. I have the power of God and anime on my side. Ha ha! Yeah. You're so dumb. You bested me. I, the great Manuel. So long if I wound these halls, only to be undone by the likes of you. The reign of Manuel, master of the gungeon, ends unceremoniously. Yeah. You've done it. You beat the entire game. Huh, well, that's a first. I guess I beat the game. I don't know what that other level is about. That wasn't even the level I was supposed to play.
Chairman, I've got him right where I want him.
Are you sure about that? You don't even know where I am, buddy. As far as you know, I could be 1,000,000 miles away. Far, far away from you. You big meanie. In your mama.
You ain't the only one with power, little geek.
Did you just call me a geek? I am not a geek, ma'am. I am a nerd. More specifically, a nerdy maniac. I know that. Shut up. Milady, would you like a taste of lead? Foreplay? No, I was thinking more of, like, I slaughter your ass. Oh, wow. Jeez. Hot and powerful. And I'm scared. I have the most confused boner right now. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm going to die. Is that enough commentary for y'all? You got nothing against me. I am not strong enough to fight you. Ah! Get a car, get a car, get a car. Get a car. Get out of here. Get going. No. Hey, Gerald, I have a personal question. Gerald, I have a personal question. Do you like balls? So, because you're about to get some balls up your ass. That sounds very suggestive for a children's game. Okay, moving on. Okay, let's just do, oh, this looks easy enough. Right, left, down, triangle. Close enough. You wanna mess with me? You wanna mess with me? I'll mess with you. I'll scrub your brains up so much I'll eat them like eggs on a Tuesday morning. Even though it's Thursday, I think. What day is it? Who cares what day it is, dirty? It's whatever day you decide to watch this video and be like, yeah, this nerd's content is good. That's good enough for me. That's good enough to just, you know, possibly watch while I twiddle my thumbs or swing my dick around. I don't know. What do you do when you watch my content? Up.
Light monster!
Yes, it is I, the Lake Monster! Ah! I'm coming to kill you! Ah!
Resisting. Quick, bring it over here.
Oh! The Lake Monster is flying!
What is it?
Are they using
Just
the
a little
Force?
boy.
And we'll meet later at my restaurant. Ooh, like a date? I definitely would like a date with you, sweetheart. Oh, damn. You are smoking the night, baby. How would you like to come back home and see what, hyperspeed sex is like? Don't worry. Your dad won't have to know.
Listen, kid. Agent Cruller is a hero. But he's not operating at 100%. He can
Excuse me, don't you dare insult Floor Cruller.
He doesn't have the
You
authority
2-cent
to
piece of
commission
bitch.
You're Hollis Forsyth, lesser head of the Psychonauts?
Lesser
True
head.
Psychic Tales 146. You and Truman fought the Noodler together.
I prefer the title Second Head. If the other agents vouch for you, I might be able to get you a spot.
Okay.
In the intern program.
Oh, intern? Lady, you haven't even seen the things that I'm capable of. I will set your furniture on fire. See, I just did. I set your furniture on fire. How do you feel about that? Why are you digging the ground with your
I
stop
work on the
sign?
road crew.
That's not.
Look at that woman's breasts. They're large.
What?
Not a through street.
What woman?
Not a through street.
Well, of course not. The road is broken. This level is actually making me feel kind of uneasy. Like, really uneasy. Hi there.
I can climb telephone poles.
What are you
Is there
doing?
anyone on the line?
You're not even...
I can
Okay.
listen to any phone conversation that I want, but do not because of my sense of professional responsibility.
Oh yeah, what you're doing there is pretty
Hello.
professional there, buddy.
You want me to show you a demonstration?
Oh, no, that's okay. I don't need a demonstration.
I think I'm gonna show you a demonstration.
No. No.
Too late. I'm showing you a demonstration.
I'm sorry, I don't want to see the demonstration. He's gonna blow the place up. I don't know what else to tell you, Miss Amanda.
Get ready to die.
Huh. We're alive. Aha. Yeah, I bet you didn't expect that, now did ya? I've become smarter. Know your place, trash. You think you can best me? I'm besting you right now. Check out this dodge. Oh yeah. Oh, where did I go? I don't know. Wait. You still don't know your place, do ya? That's okay. I'll just keep throwing trash cans at you until you remember. Whoa!
Hey, Princess Kenny. Could you come here a sec? Shh, don't tell. Okay. Just real quick, Princess Kenny. Sir Douchebag wants to show you something. All right, you two. Spar!
But I don't want to fight
Show
her.
Princess Kenny the magical powers I have taught you.
Okay. Here we go. I'm so sorry. I love you.
That was fucking hilarious! That was fucking awesome! Oh, okay, good job, Sir Douchebag. That was sweet.
You made her pissed
Thanks,
off.
Princess Kenny. That's all for now.
Yeah, that's right. Call him an asshole. That's what he is.
Dude, seriously, remember, don't ever do that on someone's boss, okay? Seriously.
I'll do it
want
on
magic,
yours.
magic
Harold, come on back. You gotta see this. They got a talking horse on the TV. I ain't never seen nothing like.
Hi there. I am your husband now. How many times can I make the same joke without it sounding old? I feel like I've said the Queen Amidala joke like 7 billion times. It's not funny, Max. Please let the joke die. That's the joke. That was the joke dying right there. And hello, Deaf Block. All too familiar Deaf Block. I'm gonna crouch right here. Pretend I'm doing your mom right here. This is me doing your mom. I can make that joke. I'm the angry video game nerd.
No one could take their eyes off the incredible bass player, whose performance was tantamount to genius.
Bailey? Doing something smart? You gotta be out of your mind.
You know what? That was really uncalled for.
Pirates didn't make their prisoners walk the plank. In fact, they rarely chose to kill them, but rather, they made them suffer.
Quiver, what are you talking about?
Ugh! Can any of this just make any sense?
Knowing Max, probably not.
You'll never tag me! Tagging me ends the game after all. And if I'm far away without the platform, you'll never be able to tag me.
Do you seriously have to call in your droids though to come and kill me? This is a very intense game of tag. It doesn't need to be like this.
Of course it does! You took everything from me.
I don't even know who you are.
This could be
I face planted him with my butt. Oh, wait! Pin him! Yes!
He's going for the pin!
Get it! Get it!
No trouble kicking out of that one.
Damn it! Alright, well. Do it again! Yeah!
The superstar's looking
This-
great here at the top
That
of the
pin
horse.
looks very
And there's
suggestive,
still
actually.
plenty of fight
I don't
left.
think I like it. Yeah! Pin you a different way. Okay, this looks really
And Triple
suggestive.
H kicks out at 2.
You can't tell me that wrestling is not gay, because I'm pretty positive it is. Alright, I'm on the roof. No! I am off the roof! Okay! This is going really well. Haha, you can't see me. I can't even see you. I mean, I can still see me. But that's a side stuff. Will you stop shooting me? I don't feel like fighting you, so leave me alone.
Look at this, Ted. Guy thinks he's a tag team specialist now.
Yeah, that's a good
Don't
one.
fuck you, guys.
Maybe we should give him some pointers on the fine art of tag team competition, since we are the best.
Oh, yes, please! Impart your wisdom upon me, oh wise douchebags!
Oh, wait. There's one problem.
Yeah, we don't like you.
We really don't like you.
Well, that's fine, because I don't like y'all either. And I would take the time to fight each one of you, but I don't feel like fighting a bunch of cowards.
Get lost.
Yeah, no, you get lost. And you! Stop
Hit the bricks.
Stop meandering around like a drunk. No, you hit the bricks. Hit the bricks before you hit any more drinks. You drunk billionaire bastard. Will you stop being all paranoid? I thought I saw a cat. Hey, who's she? That is your mother. I thought it was your mom. Isn't that your mom's favorite character? It is, but shut up. Oh no. Worms on a string have come to attack Padme. Get off my wife! The only worm that's allowed on her is my own, damn it. I know what I said. Now come on, we got work to do. Okay. You're sure about this? Of course I'm sure about this. Everybody's going to die! Ha ha ha!
You guys let me take a look. I'll bet I can find them.
Yeah.
Oh, Tasty, I can't decide.
Well...
Oh... Am I gonna be bored? I don't want to be bored! No thank you, this isn't what I signed up for! No, 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 no. I'm not the drug! I'm not the drug! Oh, this is even worse! I'm still the drug either way. And... Oh! Stop showing off your nuts! I don't want to lose against this guy. Losing against this guy is gonna suck. Come on! What you got? Nothing, that's what you got. I continually hit you with a table pick. Good night. Ah! Did she try to attack me with a ham? Also, damn, she got some big ones. I didn't want to see him up close and personal. No thank you. I'll kick your ass, boy. Apparently I'm kicking my own ass. That's fine with me. No, it's not. I will destroy you. I will destroy you, and then I will... I don't know what I'll do. I'll stop you, and then I'll do your mom. Who am I fighting against? You're going to hell now, and Max is taking you there. I will see you all in the next year. Later.